Calgary. Save the Stamps was the cry in the Cowtown, and head coach Bob Vespasiani did that. He put Calgary into the playoffs and made it a successful season for a team that didn't know it would be around. The Calgary Stampeders will try to improve on that in 1987. Meanwhile, the trouble spot in the CFL now is Regina. But new Riders general manager Bill Baker and the rookie head coach John Gregory have things back on the rails, they think. Saskatchewan beat Winnipeg in a preseason game, lost to the Calgary Stampeders, but hope to reverse that score today. Taylor Field in Regina hosts the Canadian Football League opener on the Canadian Football Network. It's Bob Vespasiani's Calgary Stampeders against the Saskatchewan Roughriders of John Gregory. The Canadian Football Network. Today's game from Taylor Field in Regina is brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Brewery and by Petro-Canada dealers and agents across Canada. They were assistant coaches in Winnipeg in 1984 and helped the Blue Bombers win a Grey Cup. Now they're head coaches on opposite sides of the field.
Any advice for John Gregory? Pray a lot and do your homework. And those X factors in sport sometimes make the difference. Motivation, team chemistry, and all that type of thing. Those things go a long way when you're trying to turn something around. And I'm sure John has considered all those things. I'm not going to give anyone any advice. It's just you got to get up every morning, thank the Lord you get one more morning to give it hell again.
I'm really excited about the ball game. I feel like I could go out and play myself, which I know I can't, but I feel like I could play a couple plays anyway. A couple hits would feel good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Hodge, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 1987 Canadian Football League opener in Regina and the first ever telecast on the Canadian Football Network. And to introduce former CFL fullback Neil Lumsden as our CFN color commentator. Neil, the Riders have basically admitted this is a make-or-break season, but I think there might be a danger in thinking that this is a make-or-break game. If they win the game, the battle's not over. If they lose the game, there's still time to make it up.
David, they can put a lot of pressure on their players if they go out to the game this afternoon and say, we've got to win this game and show our fans. John Gregory understands there's 18 games ahead of him. Let's get 10 wins, and that's what he wants. 10 wins, and he feels he can get into the playoffs. They're going to play it a game at a time.
Just the same, this would be a bonus if he could win this as one of those 10. Two quarterbacks, we've never seen them before. Jeff Bentram for Saskatchewan out of North Dakota State. Rick Warman, who's never taken a snap in a CFL game, will play for Calgary.
Rick Warman dressed for all games last year, never saw the field. If it wasn't for Jeff Tedford going down with a jam thumb in preseason, he wouldn't have got his chance. He's an opportunist. All he does is, according to Vespasiani, he moves the ball down the field.
We'll watch the Calgary Stampeders directed by Rick Warman and the Saskatchewan Roughriders by Jeff Bedford. The Riders have counted tickets sold and concessions gained and vouchers received. Now they want to count touchdowns and field goals. And so to the Stampeders. You're watching the Canadian Football Network from Regina. It's nice to report that the weatherman is a Riders fan and has blessed us with a gorgeous day at Taylor Field. We'll get the Canadian Football League season underway under sunshine. Saskatchewan obviously preparing to kick off, and the Calgary Stampeders will send Ron Hopkins and an impressive rookie from the University of Toronto, Andy McVeigh, back deep to receive Mike McTagg's kickoff. He does all the kicking for Saskatchewan, and Neil, there is some question of whether he does it well enough.
They're going to find out this afternoon. He not only is a pretty good kicker, but he's backs up a slot back, safety, and he's their third-string quarterback, so he's a very valuable commodity.
Right now it's number 9, Mike McTagg, and his right leg getting us underway. The CFL season has begun, and Hopkins at the 7-yard line for the Stampeders. Not much room. He is hit pretty quickly. Didn't get back to the 25-yard line, and so the Stampeders will take the ball there. 15-yard return by number 15, Ron Hopkins.
I'm sure there won't be a question whether the Calgary offense has the faith in Warman. They've worked with Warman. They know about him from last year. I think they should just move right in against the Saskatchewan defense and do things they've been doing it in practice.
24-yard line is the line of scrimmage. Warman is Gary Allen and Andy McVeigh behind him. Running play, and it goes nowhere. A couple of yards perhaps. And that was Tim Petros starting at fullback for Calgary, a former University of Calgary Dinosaur.
They've got some great people up front on the Regina defense. Rick Goltz played well for a number of years, started in BC, and Nick Hebler. They're looking for leadership from those two people. They can take the defense, and that type of thing can be infectious. They go to the football.
2nd down 8. We should see Rick Warman's first ever Canadian Football League regular season pass. Substitution by Saskatchewan as they bring in an extra linebacker, Steve Crane. Warman is out of Eastern Washington University. Had an impressive preseason outing a week ago against these Riders. And here's his 2nd and 8 pass. No good. There was a receiver held up. Petros complains, and so does Warman. But a flag does not appear.
Coach Gregory looking for 10 wins. Knows he has the horses. Bentrim is the question. Can he get this offensive team going for Saskatchewan? He's got the poise and he's got the ability, and they do have confidence in him.
Jeff Bentrim will get his first chance at directing an offensive series in the CFL momentarily. The Calgary punter is Glenn Harper, waiting at his 11-yard line. He'll have better punts than that, he hopes. That was Eric Florence into Calgary territory. So the field position for Jeff Bentrim and the Saskatchewan offense couldn't be better.
26-yard punt, 5-yard return. That's 21 yards net. That's not good enough. The wind is swirling, but it shouldn't affect the punts to that extent.
Jeff Bentrim turns 22 years old on this Father's Day. Happy birthday to Jeff Bentrim. From the 46-yard line of the Stampeders with Tim McCray and Dave Conrad as running backs. McCray gets the handoff, and there is nothing for him. Stu Laird in on the tackle.
Tough sledding against that Calgary defense. Not only do they lead the leagues in sacks, but they're tough against the run. Guys like Hallman, Laird, Belleville, they make it tough to run on.
It's tough for Saskatchewan to form a running attack. The two men they hoped would start aren't here. Bobby Johnson's career may be through because of a broken vertebra, and Denny Ferdinand is down with a broken tibia, out a couple of months. So McCray, a former Ottawa Roughrider, and Conrad from Acadia University are the starters. 2nd down, almost 10 for the first down, and Bentrim is a rollout, scrambling type quarterback. There's proof of it for the first down.
Bentrim takes a simple rollout pass to the left. It's going to be a basic rollout left. Bentrim sees the pressure from the outside. Now it looks like he's going to run the option. Gets his shoulder square, and up the field he goes. He's a very valuable runner.
He lost only 4 games at North Dakota State in 4 years. Here's his first pass, and he completes it. And that's a big target, Ray Elgard. Looks like another first down.
Bentrim short set, steps to his right, finds Elgard in between the seam. Good job of stepping up in between the offensive and defensive tackle there.
From the 22-yard line, Jeff Bentrim has produced 2 first downs, 1 with a run and 1 with a pass. This is McCray, the running back, to the 15-yard line. It would really be a boost for Saskatchewan to score the first time they get the ball, and there's certainly that chance. 2nd and about 4.
With McCray coming out of the backfield, not only is a good runner, but he catches the ball well. They can utilize him in so many different ways, and the way Bentrim runs, who knows what's going to happen.
A lot of coaches would discourage a running quarterback from exposing himself, but Gregory has told Bentrim, go ahead. If that's what you do well and that's what you want to do, you have license to run. Bentrim is not going to go anywhere this time. He waited too long, much too long, I think, when they look at the films. And Harold Hallman, the sack leader, last season just got another one.
The Shenley Rookie Award winner comes through, arm under, goes to the outside, just persistent, gets through to Bentrim, hangs on with that big clutch of his and pulls him down, gets help from his friends.
He led Calgary in sacks. He was 4th in the league. The Stampeders as a team were #1. So they're pleased with that. The fans gave Bentrim a hand as he came off. He has put Saskatchewan into field goal range. It'll be a 29-yard attempt from Mike McTagg, and this is a Saskatchewan question mark this season. But the first test is passed by Mike McTagg, and it's a 3-0 Saskatchewan lead. The Riders ahead of the Stampeders in the first quarter of play. Rider fans are happy with the early lead, and so is John Gregory, who wasn't quite sure how he'd react as a head coach, whether he'd be calm or excited. He seems to be the latter after McTagg's field goal. Stampeders from their 35-yard line. This is Gary Allen, the CFL's leading rusher. In '86, he gets 6 yards this time, the only 1,000-yard rusher in the league a year ago.
Gary Allen's abilities, special teams, offensive team, can run the ball, can catch the ball. He is their main offensive threat. He gets to the outside in that last play, not much. He still gets up the field, makes 6 yards. That's how good he is.
The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rushers in the league last season aren't around anymore. Bobby Johnson, Lester Brown in Winnipeg is on the reserve list, and Walter Bender's on the reserve list right here in Saskatchewan. 2nd and 4 for Rick Warman, looking for Calgary's first down. Sideline pass is broken up. Harry Skipper over there, and the Riders hold him again.
Gregory feels Harry Skipper breaks on the football as well as anybody in the CFL. After that quarterback delivers the ball, he gets to the receiver.
He had an up-and-down game in the preseason effort, made 2 great plays and a couple that weren't so great, but he does here what Gregory says he does best.
Good job of protection by the offensive line, keeping those green linemen out of there.
Well, the early advantage for rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback goes to Jeff Bentrim, who has a couple of first downs and 3 points, and Warman has none of either yet. Nick Hebler injured, and I really don't know what happened. It seemed he was trying to line up and sort of keeled over.
Probably wanted to get off the field. It's not a bad ploy to stop the clock. Now they can get another man in for him. He's probably fine, but they might not have had enough men on the field or too many.
Glenn Harper will await the snap. He's from Washington State University, #4 among CFL punters last year with an average of more than 41 yards. He'd like to do better than that, and field goal kicker J.T. Hay has been working with him. A line drive kick, and this is Eric Florence again to the 45 and ushered out of bounds there. The Stampeders again will enjoy, the Roughriders rather, good field position.
You're right, Glenn Harper last year was having a hard time fitting in. J.T. Hay under the wing. His wing took him aside and said, look, there's certain things you're going to have to do if you're going to be part of this football team. He has improved since then. John
Gregory found Eric Florence in Winnipeg, and a lot of Gregory's information on the CFL, of course, comes from his days as a Bomber assistant. Florence couldn't make the Bombers. No disgrace at the wide receiver position with that team. He has a spot here for now anyway. Bentrim out in the flat, and that's Eric Florence. A couple of yards short of midfield as the Riders continue to move the ball, and they're mixing it up pretty well.
You figure any receiver that goes into Winnipeg is going to have a tough time when they've got the likes of Tuttle and Murphy and Boyd. They were very high on him, but they couldn't keep him.
Halfway through the first quarter, Saskatchewan 3 on a Mike McTagg field goal, and Calgary nothing. 2nd down for Saskatchewan from its 52-yard line. The Riders need to go just past midfield. Bentrim will throw for that yardage, but he overthrows his intended receiver. That's fullback David Conrad. Not close on that one. And McTagg will now make his first punt of the game.
A good start for the rookie on his birthday. Move the ball down in his first possession. Look calm. Guess everything they've said about him is true. He stands in the pocket, and if he wants to go, he'll go.
North Dakota State is an NCAA Division II school, and in Bentrim's 4 years, he won 3 titles, 3 NCAA Division II championships. NFL teams liked him as a running back, but didn't get a chance to draft him because Saskatchewan signed him. That's McTagg's punt, and that's Gary Allen, a great punt returner, but he has no chance this time. Saskatchewan special teams bringing the fans out of their seats. Alan Johns down there. When you don't start, special teams is where you got to play well. Johns did that. I think he was a little surprised that the #1 job went with the #1 sweater, but that doesn't mean he lacks for confidence. Jeff Bentrim thinks he can do the job. Rick Warman still trying to get a first down for Calgary. The Stamps down by field goal. Here's Gary Allen, and he just hesitated far too long. Almost looked like he wanted to throw a pass, but I guess he would say there was nowhere to go.
It's a warm one. The fans have come out, and they're ready to watch some football.
Well, I like what they've seen, Neil, from the Roughriders so far, and the Stampeders have to be wondering when their offense will start clicking. The backup to Rick Warman, not that we're quickly trying to look for a replacement, is Carl Fodor, and he's another rookie, so there is no experience behind young Mr. Warman. Second down, Stampeders, and they've been in their territory for the entire first quarter. Pressure from Eddie Lowe, but the pass is completed. Emmanuel Tolbert, however, he is well short of a first down, short of the 20-yard line. Big John Walker and Billy Jackson, and when you talk about Billy Jackson making tackles, you talk about a guy doing it better than most in any football league.
Billy Jackson, a total of 156 tackles last year, and he does it from the outside linebacker spot. He's mobile, he's active, he's good size, 6 feet 230. He gets around the field, obviously, and he creates an awful lot of problems for offensive teams.
Problem for Calgary, as well as the short gain, is an injury to center Bob Poley, who had a big year. Of course, he likes to come back here, a former Saskatchewan Roughrider, but he was a CFL All-Star in 1986.
Bob played awfully well last year. This would be a very serious blow. As Pat Clayton, the athletic therapist of the Stamps, looks on. Hopefully it'll be just something knocking the wind out of him, but losing him at center would be a problem.
We asked Bob Vespasiani if he was concerned at all that the Stampeders, having gone through their crisis, would unwittingly take it easy on Saskatchewan, realizing what the Riders have been through, and he said, I certainly hope not. But this is a flat start for Calgary.
It sure is. Interesting that last year, every time Calgary played at home, Vespasiani felt that his team thought they owed the fans something. Every game, they'd come out uptight. They have to perform in front of the home crowd. He thought that was a problem for them. Of course, after last year's opener against Edmonton, where the Hail Mary pass to Stephan Jones really sunk their ship, they were able to rebound back.
Bob Poley is up and looks all right now. We hope so, and so does Bob Vespasiani. There's only so many linemen to go around. Obviously only so many players on a CFL roster, only 34, so every injury creates a hole. Right now, from a hole that is a yard deep in his end zone, another punt from Glenn Harper. And once more, the Riders can bank on good field position for Bentrim in the offense. It's Harper's best punt, but it's not a particularly good one. Florence took a bit of a risk in fielding it that way. However, he held on to it, certainly minimized his return. But here are the Riders once again in Calgary territory inside the 50-yard line.
Bob Poley, the Canadian Football League's answer to Lanny McDonald and his mustache, getting his left hand, the tape cut off. Could be a sprained wrist. He could go back into the game because with paws like that, he can snap the ball with one hand.
The good news for Harper was that the punt wasn't returned, but it only went 33 yards. So from the 47 of the Stampeders, Jeff Bentrim and the Saskatchewan offense leading 3-0. Tim McRae is the recipient of the handoff. Short gain, he reaches ahead for the 40. They'll put it back, I think, to the 41-yard line. Right up the middle of the Calgary defense.
Some big guys in there, Eugene Bellevaux, Harold Hallman. Again, repeating, it is tough to run on them, but the misdirection type of running play that Bentrim called there can be the type where you can get an opening, and a slashing type of runner like McRae can get into the secondary quickly.
Second down, a little more than 4 yards. McRae once again. And the first down is made. He's inside the 35-yard line.
Looks like your basic student body right to the short side of the field.
Tim McRae was an Ottawa Roughrider, now a Saskatchewan Roughrider. They are sending the plays in. The fans would want to know that, but Bentrim still has some options after he hears the call. Both backs in motion. Terry Cochran in the game now. For the sidelines, a diving attempt by Florence. He's covered by Ron Hopkins, and that pass just was not good enough. The plays are being called by from the sidelines. Tom Burgess, the backup man. John Gregory is there. Who else?
And Huffnagel to the left. They send in a situation. They don't send in particular plays. They send in an area of which he can choose a play from because of the down in the distance. Gives him some leeway, room to work with.
Second down 10. They'll try McCray again, and he's got room, and he'll go for a touchdown. 9-0 Saskatchewan. He went 34 yards, and the Riders are hot in the opening quarter.
Sets up in a straight eye, pitch right. A great job of collapsing the left side of the defensive line and giving him that lane into the goal line area. Great job of blocking.
Well, this is the way you get Rider pride back. All of the telethons and ticket-thons and save-a-thons are great, but touchdown and a field goal in the first quarter really helps. Bit of a damper there as the convert was missed, so it remains Saskatchewan 9 and the Calgary Stampeders nothing.
Hang on to your hat. You're in for a wild one. Come on over. The Calgary Exhibition and Stampede, July 3rd to 12th. It's gonna be a wild one.
Now Bridgestone has patented radial tire technology that doesn't compromise performance for mileage. Or mileage for a smooth ride. Or anything for anything. At 100 kilometers an hour, remember patented radial tire technology. And remember Bridgestone!
Dave Hodge and Neil Lumsden upstairs at Taylor Field. Tim McCray of Saskatchewan on the bench for the first touchdown of the season.
That sweep and that 34-yard run was exactly how they draw it on the chalkboard in the dressing room. Couldn't have been done better.
9-0 as McTagg did not make the convert. He hit the upright, and now he kicks off a spiral kickoff, which you don't see too often. One of the up men has it, and that is Marshall Toner. He goes out of bounds, and Calgary just can't get good field position. That would help, but the way you do that is get a first down. They still haven't got one of those.
Gregory has to be impressed with his special team play, saying yesterday that a lot of these new players and the backups are better athletes than they were last year. Thus, their special teams perform a little bit better. They're hustling downfield, and they're keeping Calgary in that end of the field.
Foreman flanked by his two wide receivers, Larry Willis and Tony Woodruff. First down, Calgary from the 30-yard line. Foreman over the middle, and that's a catch and a fumble, I believe. Tolbert was knocked loose from the ball, and Eddie Lowe has picked it up and is running with it to the 30-yard line, right back to the line of scrimmage, and everything goes right for Saskatchewan, and nothing yet for Calgary. Well, that's a major league hit on Emmanuel Tolbert, who was, to say the least, vulnerable after he made the catch.
Anytime a receiver comes across the middle and has to go in the air, he knows he's going to get popped, and probably from behind. Ball comes loose. Eddie Lowe makes a great run. Looks like a running back there.
Here's quarterback Jeff Bentram with pressure, fires. Elgard juggles it and can't hold it. So second down from the 31-yard line for Saskatchewan.
Ray Elgard, the guy they call Harley around here for his haircut. Looks like a biker. As Mike Samples talks to Eddie Lowe, saying, hey, great coverage. Now score when you get the football. We don't get it that often.
"22-year-old Jeff Bentram. 2nd and 10 from the 31. That pass is caught by Elgard. He has to struggle for the first down, and where they put it will depend on whether the Riders keep the ball for the first down or have a decision to make on 3rd down.
Well, in their last exhibition game, Gregory went for a 3rd and 1 in their own end of the field. I think if it's short this time, I think you take a shot at it.
Well, he certainly got all the momentum he'd ever need.
I wonder if he still wants to get in and hit somebody. He's settled down a bit now.
No decision required. It is a first down. Bentram to Elgard. He has the look of a confident young man about him. He's not asking for help. He's giving directions out there.
Very businesslike. He takes control.
Line of scrimmage, the 21-yard line. Saskatchewan leading 9-0 and trying to make it a bigger lead. Fullback Conrad, and he's got pretty good room. Inside the 15-yard line from Acadia University, where he won a Vanier Cup title, David Conrad.
They're pleased the way he has come along with Ferdinand hurt. Danny Ferdinand was hurt in the first day of training camp, but right from that point on, Conrad stepped in. He's done a good job. He came back a little bit stronger this year, more of a fullback type, and they like to use him out of the backfield too.
Ball's at the 14. That does make it 2nd down and 3, and Bentram will throw. Tim McRae. First down, Saskatchewan inside the 10.
Even the Gophers getting excited. We want another touchdown. Bentram is doing as good a job on offense as I've seen as dissecting a defense. He sits back, sets his feet, and throws the ball out to the flat. His choice of plays is outstanding, even though he is getting some help.
McRae's been a big part of it with his touchdown run, that catch. 1st and goal, Saskatchewan. To the end zone, Elgard for the touchdown.
Happy birthday, Jeff Bentram.
Now, you want to go down now and ask John Gregory whether it's essential that he wins this game. Right now, he would say yes.
Straight drop back. Calgary tries to get more pressure. They bring Larry Hogue from the outside. It doesn't matter because it puts Elgard in a one-on-one situation. Touchdown.
Well, the only thing they've done wrong is kick converts. They'd like to keep trying, I'm sure. And McTagg will have his 2nd opportunity now, and he keeps this one right away from both of those goalposts. It is Saskatchewan 16 and Calgary nothing. Almost 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Saskatchewan couldn't have imagined a better start, and I don't think Calgary could have imagined a bigger nightmare.
We talked about those 10 wins that John Gregory wanted to get. He's on his way to one if his team continues to play solid football, not do anything too fancy. Jeff Bentram has good reason to be happy. He has performed just outstanding. First game, he's a birthday guy. He knows there's a cake waiting for him. He wants to get into that dressing room and get that cake.
Well, the coaches would say that you should never blow a 16-point lead, even if it is in the first quarter. But John Gregory must remember and must remind his Roughriders that there's a lot of time left. And this game is, of course, far from over. But if they keep playing like this, who knows what the final score might be.
Yeah, make no mistake, the Calgary Stampeders can be very explosive on offense, and they showed it last week in their last preseason game against this very club.
Well, McTagg has been kicking all afternoon. Converts, kickoffs, and just one more thing to go wrong. This is Andy McVeigh finally getting the ball and not getting farther than the 15-yard line, and everything Saskatchewan does now is done with great excitement, and that includes the coach.
He's fired up, isn't he? He said, give me a helmet. Let me go in on there. I want to play her down the defense. Give me a hit. 73-yard kick, 12-yard return. They're still inside their 35-yard line. They haven't had possession yet outside their own end.
There's a name for what he's feeling, and it's not excitement. John Gregory said he always wanted to play pro football. Felt if he could get to 200 pounds, he might have a chance. The trouble was it took him to 45 years of age. and it was too late. Sounds like a broken record, but Saskatchewan has Calgary where it wants the Stampeders. Larry Willis dancing away from 3 tackles. And that's the best Calgary offensive play so far. Larry Slick Willis, who can be considered the replacement for Ray Alexander, who went to the Dallas Cowboys. Willis, the all-time leading receiver at Fresno State.
Well, you can tell the Saskatchewan defense is fired up over on the sidelines just as Willis went down. Nick Hebler and John Walker were involved. They're linemen. They're not supposed to be out on the sidelines. They're doing a good job of hustling.
Rick Warman's first down takes the Stampeders to the 29. Draw play, Gary Allen, and he has good room, and he has close to another first down. Looks like he's got it. So the Stampeders, down 16 points, finally get something started.
Basic football. The last play was a simple pitch out to the wide receiver, and now a straight handoff. I think that Vespasiani talked to Warman on the sidelines. Let's go back to our game plan. Let's not go away from what we've planned and worked on this week.
He was an all-star special teams because of his great punt returning. He was an all-star running back because he topped the 1,000-yard mark and was #1 in the league last year. From the 40-yard line, Rick Warman, sideline pass almost picked off as Mike Magruder came in, bounced into Marshall Toner and almost had himself a football.
Mike Magruder could smell that one as soon as it left Warman's hands. Short drop, 3-step, throws out wide. He's looking for a quick hitch pass. Magruder just slides underneath the coverage, underneath the receiver. Good job of covering.
So the Stampeders' momentum is stalled somewhat. Second down, 10 yards to go from the 40 as we will watch the last play of the opening quarter. There's pressure on Warman. He tosses it off. Tolbert, who fumbled the last time he caught a pass, this time is dragged down at the line of scrimmage. And what a first quarter for Saskatchewan, and Rick Warman has to regroup and hope things are better the next time. The score is Saskatchewan 16 and Calgary nothing after 1 period. Glenn Harper's punt gets the second quarter underway. Eric Florence returning, looking for a block. Adding to Bob Vespasiani's problems, the injury to Bob Poley. Apparently he's not going to be back, Neil.
He could very well have fractured or broken the wrist. They won't take a chance. Pat Clayton will probably take him in at halftime. They'll look at it, make a decision then. Until that point, John Coughlin will replace him at center.
Well, for a change, the Riders have the ball in their own territory. It's at the 29-yard line. We'll see how Bedford reacts to this situation. 16-0, Riders leading the Stampeders. Tim McCray has some room, maybe 5 yards over the right side.
That offensive line of Saskatchewan is doing a good job coming off the football. Mike Anderson and Brian Illebroom doing a fine job against a very tough group of players. Harold Hallman, at the best of times, is not easy to block.
Auburn University's Harold Hallman, the best rookie in the CFL last season. Second down, Riders. 5.5 yards to go. Bedford to the sidelines. The catch is made by Elgard, who seems to be Bedford's favorite receiver. The ball put down just in front of the 35, and I think that's a first down. Bedford not greedy either. He's taking what's there and not trying to get it all at once.
No, a good quarterback will play pitch and catch with the receivers. It's that you don't have to hit for 40 and 50 yards at a time to get a touchdown.
He wasn't very good last week in the preseason game, but 6 for 9, 50 yards is great here. McCray was held up by his own blocker, it appeared, Laurie Skolrud, and that's a tough mountain to climb.
He's big enough that you've got to pack a lunch to go around Skolrud. Skolrud tries to come down on the middle linebacker. Morrison did a good job of fending off that 280 pounds of Skolrud. Simple trap play. They set for a draw. Lyman set back and go down, bumps into Skolrud. It was close, but Morrison played it well.
I will credit Bernie Morrison with a tackle as well from the 37-yard line. Second down, Saskatchewan, 8 yards to go. Play fake. Bedford is surrounded and dropped. And there's the sack man, Harold Hallman. Once again, Vince Goldsmith met him there.
Harold Holman, a pile of sacks last year, and this is why. He goes into Brian Illebroom, takes the inside, takes the position away from the offensive lineman, discards him one way, goes straight into the quarterback.
John Gregory said he's working a lot on technique, offensive blocking, wants it improved, wants fewer penalties. Maybe Illebroom should have held. Allman poured through, and now it's McTagg punting. Stampeders hoping to enjoy good field position. Gary Allen's punt return does not even get underway. We saw Billy Jackson and went under Billy Jackson. His feet coming out from under him. Harold Holman helping to get through this hot day.
You think it's been a tough first quarter?
I think some points would help everybody in the Calgary team feel a little cooler. Right now all they got is water, though.
It's probably a good 10 to 12 degrees warmer down on that AstroTurf, and Holman feels every degree of it right now.
Well, a decent starting point for Warman. The ball is at the Calgary 43-yard line. It'll be a first down pass and picked off. Glenn Suter, the Rover, at midfield. Out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. And Rick Warman just simply didn't see a fifth defensive back that I guess he's not used to seeing.
Glenn Suter sits back, plays a free safety, almost like the center field. Coach Gregory felt he might have to replace Suter this year going into camp, but he had an outstanding camp. Warman gets a good job, sets back, but he doesn't read the defense. Suter sits in the middle, picks it off just like picking cherries.
Got to understand that everything is new for a rookie quarterback. Warman was asked how it would feel playing against the same team 2 weeks in a row, from last week's preseason game to this week's league game. He said, I don't know, I've never done it before. You don't do those things in college. So another turnover, another opportunity for Bentram and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There is a flag on this play. It is a completed pass to Elgard. And it takes 4 Stampeders to bring him down at the 17-yard line. Referee Jake Ireland will have to see what the flag is.
Number 81, Saskatchewan.
So Ray Elgard, who caught the pass, was guilty of illegal procedure.
A little bit antsy, motion coming across the formation, wants to get upfield more quickly than he was supposed to. Watch that football. Coaches say if you watch the football, listen to snap count, there's no reason to be offside.
Elgard has been noted for being in motion and approaching the line of scrimmage like a long jumper in the past. They're trying to discourage a little bit of that, but he didn't do it right that time. First down again, 15 yards to go. Ball at the Calgary 48. Bentram takes a little bit of it first. That's Todd Brown out of the slot, the former Montreal Concord, I guess we should say officially, and Nebraska Cornhusker. Todd Brown, one of the fastest men on this team.
All the motion goes right, as if he's going to sprint right. Bentram drops straight back. Quick release, that's the key to that play. He gets the ball in before the defensive back can move up on the receiver.
And an intelligent call. You're taking what you can get on first down. You know second down is coming up. I think maybe that play gained more than it was designed to create. But now, second down and short, Bentram fires, and this time everything got fouled up. The fullback Conrad was the intended receiver, I think, but there just seemed to be too much confusion throughout that play.
Looked like one too many receivers came to the short side of the field. Ray Elgard came over, he looked to the wide out. Just confusion. That can happen earlier on in the season. Coach doesn't like to see this. Hey, that's okay. Mistakes will happen. Just don't make them big ones.
Well, he admitted that Jeff Bentram was as raw a rookie as you can get, and he said, yes, he will make mistakes, but we'll live with him. He's our quarterback of the future, and he's playing right now. You might think about a field goal here, but Mike McTagg's range doesn't allow it, so he will punt. The wind holds that punt up and brings it right back, and the Riders scurry out of the way, and it goes out of bounds for them, so they have to stop. Ball at the 32-yard line. Stampeders will take over when we return. The Stampeders rushed that punt from their 37-yard line. Now they scrimmage the ball from the 32, so a wind-driven punt by Mike McTagg traveled only 5 yards.
8 for 4 for Warman. Probably not good enough for him. I would think that they want to start throwing the ball shorter. Not over the middle. Let's take advantage of the outside.
Not to the green guys. He is going to throw on first down. This is more accurate. Petros, the fullback, takes it at the 39-yard line. Within 3 of another first down for the Stampeders, who got a bit rolling late in the first quarter, but really their offense is sputtering.
The running game has been effective earlier on. They're going to have to start mixing it up, using the middle and the outside, because they do have some excellent receivers that will go for the football if you throw it up.
Good coverage, but the first down is made as Warman threw a bullet to Gary Allen.
2 very safe plays. Running backs check for their linebackers. Jackson and Lowe do not blitz. They go and curl to the inside where the linebacker was and dropped from.
The reason Rick Warman is playing is that Rick Johnson, last year's All-Star, is back home in Calgary. The Stampeders coaching staff feels he's not fully recovered from off-season arthroscopic surgery. Johnson begs to differ, but right now it's another Rick Warman directing the Stampeders. Another accurate pass, 2 in a row for Warman, and Gary Allen is out of bounds. He is in Saskatchewan territory.
Last 3 passes have been putting the running backs on the linebackers once again. This time they use it a little bit more effectively to get the speed of Gary Allen on a very quick Billy Jackson, but he can't stay with Gary Allen. He wouldn't be expected to. Simple, straight drop back. Your backs are curling out. Petros cuts to that side. Gary Allen just goes to the flat. Perfectly thrown ball. That's what makes that play go.
Well, Allen can do a lot. We've told you about his running and his punt returning, and he's obviously a good receiver as well. Stampeders from Saskatchewan's 50-yard line. Warman's in a groove now. That's the first catch of the season for Tony Woodruff, and another first down at the 35.
Been very happy with Tony Woodruff in training camp. Finding his tremendous speed, but his ability to come back to the football. Warman drops back, Woodruff breaks, but goes to the outside, comes back 4 or 5 yards, makes it an easy throw for Warman.
He had 4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. Larry Willis on the other side. Gone is Ray Alexander to Dallas. Andy McVeigh, his first run from scrimmage, gets inside the 30-yard line. 6'2", 210, and a pleasant surprise as a second-round draft choice.
After last week's game, Gary Allen calls him sweetness because he ran the ball so well. He is a pleasant surprise. Good size, can go either at fullback or halfback. Vespasiani's glad they have him.
Stamps also have their 3rd-round draft pick, Bruno Jeremiah, in the lineup, and that's a big help when you can add 3 players from the draft in the first year. From the 30-yard line, Warman is going for Woodruff, and it is incomplete over his outstretched hands and those of Harry Skipper, the defender.
Take one shot at the end zone. Rick Warman not happy. To make that pass successful, he's got to drop it over the shoulder. Harry Skipper did probably the best thing he could, is to come underneath the ball as it's going towards the arms of Woodruff. Vespasiani wanted that 6 points.
He'll settle for 3, however, if J.T. Hay can make it, and he didn't miss very often last season. He was 40 out of 57, and he had a couple from 53 yards out. They'll put this one down at the 37-yard line. Should be a piece of cake for Hay. It's 3 points, and the Stampeders are on the board. Thank goodness for anything they can get, say Glenn Harper and John T. Hay. Seven minutes left in the first half. Saskatchewan Roughriders leading 16-3 and moving the ball from their 35-yard line. But they don't move it. It is intercepted by Ron Hopkins, and he's at the 30-yard line, and Calgary suddenly back in this game if they can convert this opportunity. Ron Hopkins, and it's a pass that probably should have been caught.
Unnecessary turnovers, something like that. You're right. The ball should have been caught. Straight down the field. He's going to plant and coming back to the football. Florence knows he has to come back to give his quarterback a help, puts his hands up and starts to peek downfield maybe a little bit too soon. Heads up play by Ron Hopkins.
First Rider turnover, and just that quickly the Stampeders see some light. Warman for Petros, and he's at the 23-yard line. Gain of 7.
They're going to be feeling a little bit better on the sidelines now after they're starting to move the ball. Give that defense a rest. Those guys have got to be tired. They've been on the field most of the first quarter.
Ron Hopkins out of Murray State. It's his 5th year with Calgary. They have some stability in that secondary with Hopkins, Larry Hogue, Richie Hall. Second and 3, and they'd like to keep J.T. Hay on the bench and keep moving this ball. Gary Allen might be the obvious choice, but Warman's going to throw it to the end zone. Touchdown, Emmanuel Tolbert.
Emmanuel Tolbert with 69 catches last year, averaged 18.6. Trying to get some extra pressure on Warman. He does a nice job to get himself in a position where he's unharassed when he throws the football, throws it down to the outside. Straight back, plants his feet, gets in a good throwing position, drops the ball right where it had to be. Tolbert made a nice catch.
Warman would say he's doing nothing differently now than he was at the start of the game, but everything seems to be going together better, and J.T. Hay has just kicked the convert. So what was a 16-0 lead now reads 16-10. These teams scored 69 points in a preseason game. They've got 26 and counting with 5.5 minutes left in the first half. Albert Brown returning for Saskatchewan. And the Riders have to rekindle what they had going earlier. The 70-yard kickoff by the Stampeders, the 23-yard return, and Rick Warman must be feeling better about things.
Well, as you said, he probably isn't doing anything different than he did at the start of the game, just completing a few passes. He's got the Saskatchewan defense back on their heels now. They don't know what he's going to come at them with. That's where you want to be in a position as far as the quarterback.
Bentram pitches it to Tim McRae, and he follows his blockers again, collides with them a bit, and gets past the 30-yard line to the 32.
Tim McRae had 700 yards rushing when he was with Ottawa, so they know he can carry the mail. Even though Bobby Johnson couldn't return, they're happy with Tim McRae because he can do so much out of the backfield.
Second down and let's say 6.5 needed by the Riders. Bentram that pass in the flat. Todd Brown the catch, but he doesn't have the first down.
They've got the best seats in the house, I think, don't they?
Well, everybody is happy for the weather, happy for the score, happier when it was 16-0.
Jeff Bentram doesn't want that momentum to slide away. 2 and out, that's the first time he's done it. 2 plays, whether it be running or passing. They want to get some consistency. They don't want to turn that and flip that momentum coin back over to the Stampeders. They need a good punt here to push Calgary back.
Well, they're starting to look as Calgary did earlier. The plays, perhaps not the right calls and not the right execution. A fine punt. Richie Hall is dragged down by David Conrad. Flag on the play, and referee Jake Ireland will tell us what it is.
Illegal block. Calgary number 28.
Andy McVeigh, the rookie, was called for illegal blocking.
One of the things they were happy about with McVeigh was his hustle on special teams. He has to learn to make the decision when it's close to be a clipping call or when it's not.
At halftime on the Canadian Football Network, you'll meet the new general manager and chief operating officer of the Riders, Bill Baker.
What we've said to everybody is that how we're going to win is with very credible people. We are going to win with character.
One of those character players for the Riders, Al Johns, making the tackle on Gary Allen. Worman continues to clap those hands. He was doing that at 16-0. He now does it with a little more feeling. Straight back for Worman, looks to the sidelines and saw a lot of Stampeders, but they were all on the bench.
Emmanuel Tolbert, I believe, as far as the way Rick Worman dropped back to throw the football, he says you're supposed to break out on that pattern. Go towards the bench. So if we don't complete it, you've got a short walk toward the sidelines. Just come on, you got to know these plays.
Well, they will have a little discussion about that as Harper prepares to punt. Just over 3 minutes left in an entertaining first half. 16-10 for Saskatchewan. It was 16-0 if you've just joined us. Harper got that one off the side of his foot. Bit of a troublesome bounce, and the ball is loose and recovered by Calgary. A bad play by punt returner Joe Fuller, and that's something at which he excels according to the coach. But here are the Stampeders in position perhaps to take the lead.
Gainer the Gopher wants to be the 13th man. He says, let's get this defense fired up, folks.
Wonder if he knows let's prevent turnovers. First down pass from Worman. He's getting good protection. He is not particularly good at scrambling, not as good as Bentram, but he makes the best of that. When it was 16-0, it was 16-0 partially because the Stampeders turned the ball over twice. Now it's 16-10, and the big reason for that is the Riders have done it. Worman's stats suddenly look decent.
Goes back to the basics of football. A quarterback can pitch and catch. If he can take what a defense is giving him instead of trying to force what they practiced during the week, probably in the game plan is something that fits into every defense that they run. You just got to pick the right plays, and right now they're doing that.
Rick Worman's second down call. Petros and Allen set in the backfield. Gary Allen will get the handoff, and he'll get the first down inside the 10-yard line. That's the Gary Allen that led the CFL in rushing last season.
Interesting call on 2nd down and 6. Gets Saskatchewan in a defense that is ready for a passing situation. Nice changeover with Allen's abilities. I mean, he could have gone to the end zone a few more strides, and not a good play by Suter. That's a touchdown.
Well, it's a good play if you've got somebody like him to hand the ball to. First down. 10 yards to go for a Calgary touchdown and the lead. You don't get nearly enough on that play. Helmets are off and everybody's in a pile. Rick Goltz gets helped up. Why do players do that?
I don't really know. I've never liked it. I like it when people help me up, but I usually rub the stickum off my hands if I helped anybody else up.
Spend all day trying to knock him down. It doesn't make sense, does it? Let him get back up again with your help.
Gentlemen at all times.
2nd down and 9 now. Riders try to hold the stance so they can hold the lead. A Calgary touchdown could put the visitors in front. Worman's throwing for it, and the ball is knocked down, almost intercepted. Magruder came over. There was too many defenders in Tony Woodruff's area. That was not a good decision, I don't think, by Worman to even throw that pass.
Mike Magruder, they call him a ball hawk. When he was in Ottawa, he had one bad preseason game, and Joe Moss got rid of him. Dick Adams, the defensive back coach here in Regina, knew he was a good one and glad he brought him in. Great anticipation of jumping underneath the receiver. Almost picked it up.
So it will be J.T. Hay trying his second field goal. He was good from 35. This is a chip shot from 21 yards out to cut the lead to 3 points.
There's something with this end of the field.
Well, first of all, we have to decide what the call is. Calgary thinks it's good. It is.
You got to know how those posts are designed. JT's been around a lot. He knows every post in the league. So if you hit him on the inside, it'll go through. And sure enough, just on the inside, there's no question. JT knew it was in. He just said, I'm just teasing everyone.
Glenn Harper's arms are up. He's not doubting it either. In the preseason game between these teams, the Canada Leafs MVP was Calgary defensive back David McCrary.
Coming back, looking left, throws it out here for Brown, and it's picked off by the rookie McCrary once again.
The score, Saskatchewan 16 and Calgary 13, as the Riders have to try to recover the momentum. It's an overworked phrase, I guess, but how else to explain this first half than 16 straight points for Saskatchewan when they had it, and 13 now when it's obviously with Calgary.
With 1:35 left and counting, Saskatchewan wants to hold on to the ball for the rest of the quarter and come out with some points.
Just ahead of its 40-yard line, this is second down for Saskatchewan. Almost 5 yards to go. They'll try to run for it, and they will get it with Tim McCray.
It's a great day to get a tan. It's hot in the stands, taking off some shirts, having something cold to drink. Good day for a football game. They should all be like this.
Well, these people deserve a good day. They've worked hard to put this team on this sort of footing for this game, and the weather couldn't be better. Bedtram first down, throws it out, and hits Albert Brown. A short gain over the 50-yard line. We asked John Gregory to name his fastest player, and he had trouble doing it. Albert Brown was one candidate, but he said really we could put a relay team together, and the first guy would be as fast as the fourth.
Timeout.
You got to keep your body cool. You do whatever you can. Cold towels, pouring the water down in the back of your neck. That heat builds up under those shoulder pads.
With 1:03 left in the half, the Stampeders have called a timeout. Try to hold Saskatchewan here, get the ball back, and take one more crack at that lead, which has been reduced to 3 points. Bob Vespasiani now is taking everything in stride. This is a lot better, and the worried look seems to have gone.
Well, he must wonder. It's the beginning of last year, as we said. Eskimos struck with about 7 seconds left. Now they lose momentum. When you talk about character on a football team, not only do you have character, but you have some characters. Nursing a bit of an injury, getting an ice pack down on that thigh. He hasn't been in the last 3 series. Good chance he could have pulled his left quadricep. Probably can't come out of a stance with that kind of injury.
There's a good chance I still don't know what he pulled. From the 51-yard line, 2nd and 5 as the clock starts. And the Riders come up short of the first down with Tim McCray.
Do you take the chance? I guess you do. Jeff Bedtram is confident, well, maybe not as confident as I think he is.
This is Saskatchewan's timeout.
We should talk about this with the head coach. He said, we did it in college. We'll talk to the head coach.
Well, you've got 2 teams here that both think they can score before halftime. Calgary defending and Saskatchewan on offense. Now the question is, should Saskatchewan be aggressive, trying to get a first down and run another play or 2, or should the Riders punt? And they're going to punt.
Well, you know, with Bedtram's ability, why not give him a play where he has an option? He can throw it or run it, because he can get it upfield as quickly as he showed in the first half as anybody, a running back style of quarterback. I think it'd be a good gamble. But then again, I'm not getting paid to make those decisions.
And just to disagree with you, I'll say that I think they're doing the wise thing.
Oh, sure, that's because they sent the punt team out.
The roll has stopped for Saskatchewan, and one more mistake and a deficit at halftime could really lower their heads in the dressing room. They do have a 3-point lead. Things aren't all bad, and they will be content to hold that. No yards will be called, so the Stampeders with 15 seconds left will move ahead and see what Warman can do in the closing plays. 31-yard punt and a 3-yard return. The wind is blowing into McTagg.
Saskatchewan number 54.
So the no-yards penalty is called, and that being a major penalty, we'll discuss whether it should be later. It does give Calgary a first down at the 44-yard line. 15 seconds left, Stamps down by 3.
That's a tough call at the best of times, and I think the people that call it the most are the ones in the stands. They just come flying out of their seats. Go Yards!
Another name for quadricep is thigh, apparently.
Yes, it is.
So that's what Nick Hebler's got, a strained left one. First down pass into Saskatchewan territory, 9 seconds left. The catch made by Marshall Toner. Stamps hurry to the ball. They might be able to get 2 more plays, another completed pass, and then let J.T. Hay try to tie this game.
Saskatchewan, your basic prevent defense, don't let anybody get behind you.
Warman is throwing it away to stop the clock with 4 seconds left. However, that is a long field goal from there. Will they try it? Looks like it. Hope that the wind aids them, and he will need some help.
JT's got one of the strongest legs in the league. Wind assisted. I don't think this will be a tough one, as long as he doesn't try to chip it off the post again.
It's going to be 56 yards. And strong leg J.T. Hay or not, a 56-yard field goal amounts to a long one. His longest a year ago, 53. He did that twice. Trying it this time from 56 yards to end the first half. If it's good, it ties the game. 16-16, J.T. Hay from 56 yards away. That's the end of the first half. The Stampeders a lot happier than they were in the first quarter. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, we have 2 rookies to watch today, Jeff Bentram and Rick Warman, and they have both been impressive, but I think, Neil, we might give higher marks to Warman simply because he had to recover from a staggering start to do what he did in the first half. Bentram must still do that, must still show he can do that.
Well, Bentram didn't get shaken up when things didn't start to go his way. He still was doing the same types of thing that moved the ball down the field, even though they had great field position for touchdowns. Rick Warman did a fine job of staying with his game plan. It's easy to get behind and start having to throw the ball deep, trying to force receptions instead of letting it come to you. He put the Saskatchewan defense in a position to try to stop them, back on their heels. Now the Saskatchewan defense are not sure what type of offense they're going to run because of some motion. He's got them sitting back, and that's where he wants them.
The value of a field goal kicker was shown, obviously, at the end of the first half. Some teams wouldn't have tried that kick. J.T. Hay came on and obviously made it with the help of a little wind. He was 3 for 3. Couldn't be any better in the first half.
J.T. Hay, for a number of years, ever since he came from Ottawa, has been a real asset to the Calgary Stampeders. Maybe one of the best kickers in the 80s and the late 70s. Strong leg, interesting style, gets over the ball well, gets his whole body into it like a golfer would keep his head down through a swing. He's very effective, and now they know, even with a little bit of wind, with or without the wind, he can be effective from a long distance.
Well, the Riders probably think it's their turn to start scoring again. They had 16 in the first quarter. The Stamps did that in the second quarter.
Carl Hilsinger, former CFL.
Today's CFN game from Regina is being brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Brewery.
Hi, my name's Stu Laird, and on behalf of the Calgary Stampeders and the Canadian Football League, I'd like to wish fathers everywhere a very happy Father's Day. And a special Father's Day wish going back to Calgary for my dad, Stu. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yes, this is one football game at which "Hi, Mom" may not be heard quite so frequently.
Oh, no, that's okay, thanks.
It's a happy Father's Day for the Saskatchewan fans in the first quarter, not so happy in the second quarter, and now we'll see which way that momentum will go. The first half statistics, Saskatchewan's rushing yards, Tim McRae obviously contributing to that, but Rick Warman's passing yards exceeded those of Jeff Bentram as Warman got things going in the second quarter. The turnovers, the coach will tell you every time that it'll win for you or lose for you, and right now that's the reason for a tie.
This gentleman here has got to be happy about one thing other than just getting a quick start and getting some points on the board. And the performance of Jeff Bentram is last year the Saskatchewan Roughriders had 200 penalties. They've been able to, or they want to cut that down. They've done a good job so far in this game, because that can also win and lose football games for you.
His concern right now would be that the Riders came out obviously pumped up to play this game, hoping to put on a good show for the crowd, and that they did in the first quarter. His concern would be that they have hit their peak, and they've got to somehow start playing like that again. He had a chance to get him back in the dressing room and rekindle the spark. But it's the Stampeders who are the more confident of the two teams, one would think, right now, and how quickly a 16-point lead can evaporate.
Well, defensive teams like to go and prepare for a game. We want to be on the field for 2 plays and out. Offenses like to drive the football. That's what they have to start doing again, is driving the football.
Well, if we wanted a high-scoring, close game, that's exactly what we've got for 30 minutes, and here comes the second half. Ron Hopkins with some room, and he just keeps running straight up the middle and guards that football with Riders trying to take it away from him. Hopkins, a big return of 37 yards. And here comes Rick Warman trying to keep the points going up on the board.
Just wants to keep doing what he did in the latter part of the first quarter and second quarter. Great deal of poise sitting back as a quarterback. He's going to see some things he hasn't seen before. You can bet that defense is going to try to throw as much at him in coverages as they possibly can to confuse him.
46.5-yard line. Calgary possession, Calgary territory, and that is Gary Allen for a couple of yards.
Gary Allen, 23.
Riders closing in on him. There's Eddie Lowe in on the tackle. And again, the helping hand for the runner from the defender.
Eddie Lowe, an outstanding linebacker, a little bit smaller, 5'11", 205. He's always worried he's not in good enough shape. He's the type of guy that will wear ankle weights on the road trip. He is in tremendous shape, very strong for his size.
Played for the late Bear Bryant at the University of Alabama. Second and long for Warman and the Stampeders. Warman has been getting pretty good time to throw, and he's been throwing passes like that. Gary Allen needs another yard for a first down, I think. So how does Bob Vespasiani feel about 3rd and 1?
I think with Gary Allen in the backfield, I think he should feel quite good about it. Straight drop back, as basic a football as you can get, and a good quick release to the outside, gets the receiver on the break. Gary Allen makes a great move on the inside. Now drop that shoulder and get to the sidelines and get upfield. If not for Fuller and Albright, that would have been a first down.
They'll go for it, and it is all of 1 yard. It is a full yard that the Calgary Stampeders need. Allen and Petrus in the backfield. Allen is the ball carrier, and I don't know. I don't think he's got it. The Riders are assuming that he doesn't. They're sending out the offense.
That play is decided along the line of scrimmage. The strongest surge at this point comes from the defensive line. And they stuffed it. You get an opportunity to run a short yardage, you're going to run to your strength. Straight pop, straight ahead. Great job by the linebacker filling in Albright, Walker, and Hebler. They have to win that battle early to make it a stalemate, and that's what they did.
Now the stats won't show that as a turnover, but it very much is. The Riders have the ball at the 54-yard line. McCray a little trouble cradling the ball and then went down after a gain of 3.
I'm surprised at this point we haven't seen Calgary do a little bit more on the field defensively. Nick Hebler's thigh, I believe, is still bothering him. He started in the first series, but he doesn't look real happy. Hasn't gone back to the ice pack yet, but when he does, I'd say that's it for a day for this defensive end. Those green shoes, like those green shoes.
2nd and 7, Saskatchewan. Calgary 53-yard line. Bentram fires a bullet. That's Todd Brown on the receiving end, or is it Tim McCray? Todd Brown it is. Inside the Calgary 40, and you couldn't want a better pass than that one.
He threaded that in perfectly. Bentram again showing poise. getting a situation sent into him where he can pick a play from a group of plays that he has. Exactly the way they started out the first half. They're doing the same things, throwing the ball in the middle. They look very confident once again.
This is Tim McCray for 5 yards.
There are the horses. Tim McCray's got a great little shift move when he hits the offensive line. Seems to move laterally. Makes a good running back. If he doesn't see a hole, he can slide over to one more gap and get up the field.
Well, he's got a tough act to follow here with Bobby Johnson having the sort of season he had in '86, but McCray has a great start to '87. Second down, almost 5 yards to go. The Stampeders show a blitz, and they pile into McCray just as soon as he gets the handoff. Lamont Jeffers, from his linebacker spot, will be credited with a tackle.
Oftentimes when you see a linebacker come free like that, it's not only a great play by the linebacker, but someone up front like Eugene Belleville or Stuart Laird grabbed an offensive lineman and pulled him aside to allow him to get into that gap.
Well, Mike McTagg will have a test now, a 43-yard field goal attempt. This one is good. So McTagg is 2 for 2. And Saskatchewan regains the lead. Riders by 3, 19-16. Friday on the Canadian Football Network, the Ottawa Roughriders host the Hamilton Ticats, featuring former Shenley winner Ben Zambiazzi.
Be part of a great triple threat. You, me, and the Canadian Football Network.
That's Friday on CFN, Hamilton and Ottawa, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. From Calgary's 35, Rick Warman throws far sidelines, much too high and too far for Tony Woodruff. It'll be second down and 10. Well, Mike McTagg has looked pretty good kicking the field goals, and with some kickers released the other day, Paul Osbaldiston in Hamilton and Roy Kurtz in Montreal, there was some talk that the Riders should be looking at one of those two, but John Gregory would like to have Mike McTagg do all the things he does and save some roster spots for other players.
He's building a strong case this afternoon, but he's got to work on his punting.
Second and 10. Warman's protection still good as he wants to throw a screen. That ball is up for grabs. Nobody gets it. Appeared to hit the back of the offensive lineman, Rob Smith, the guard. And Bobby Jurison wishes he'd caught it.
Bob Poley, the center, starting center of the Calgary Stampeders, has broken his wrist and will not return today. John Coughlin will continue at center. John's brother Mark in Edmonton is watching on closely today. He coaches with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, we're sorry to report that news on the great veteran Bob Poley. He won't return for many days as he has broken his left wrist. Glenn Harper punting for Calgary. That's a good one. Eric Florence, who's been busy on punt returns. Stampeders down very well on special teams.
Along with a great day for football, there's some tremendous scenery. Keeps the fan busy both on and off the field, doesn't it?
You mean the prairie wheat fields?
I was thinking more of the AstroTurf type of field. It's the first time I've seen the Riders go after a punt.
Saskatchewan leads 19-16, 10 minutes left in the third quarter. This young man, 22 years old today, Jeff Bentram, tries to keep the Riders moving from the 32-yard line. He's going to show us his running ability again as a flag comes down. Bentram's got a lot of room down the sidelines. There are 2 flags showing.
One was thrown in the direction where he came out of, the pack he came out of, so you might think that one could be offensive holding.
Here's Jake Ireland.
Saskatchewan number 16.
Laurie Skolrud got caught putting his hand on somebody.
So the ball back to the 22-yard line, and the Riders will do it again. Wiping out a great gain by Jeff Bentram. I don't know that he'll want to be running on this play after all of that, although he's going to have a bit more time to rest because there is a Calgary player injured.
Once again, Pat Clayton, therapist for the Calgary Stampeders, is pressed into action. This is the type of day where cramps can start in the calf area. Enough running, the loss of fluids, players can go down, and when those legs start to cramp up, it can be tough to get rid of.
Lamont Jeffers, the linebacker, up and okay, but off the field for this play at least. This is a first down, 20 to go from the 22. Bentram throws and completes the pass to Conrad. He needs a block to the 35-yard line. Got a lot of it back, not all of the 20 yards needed, but a pretty good play from a scrambling situation.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest screen I've seen set up, but it was effective because Jeff Bentram got himself running. He sets up. He knows he's going to get pressure. Now he's got to find the running back. Sets out. I don't think he wants to roll. He steps up again, just pumps that ball sidearm into Conrad. Conrad makes a nice job of cutting back and looking for his offensive lineman, who disappeared upfield.
A lot of veteran quarterbacks can't throw that ball back against the grain that way, and of course Bentram didn't have to throw it too far. Slingshots that one to Elgard, and it's a first down, though there is another flag showing in the field.
Ray Elgard was not happy the way he was taken to the turf.
He is the penalized player, says Jake Ireland. So another good gain is wiped out, and now penalties start to hurt Saskatchewan, and this was one of the priorities when John Gregory took over. He said we were the most penalized team in the league last season, and we must do something about that.
You can't erase all the good things you do by a silly penalty, by pushing off or reacting because somebody hit you a little bit too hard. It's part of the game.
Here today, they're playing the team that had the fewest number of penalties last season, the Stampeders, and Bob Vespasiani says it's discipline, it's hard work. We credit the assistant coaches. And a few examples along the way of penalties that really hurt you can drive the point home to the players very well. That might be one right there for Gregory. Ball back at the 25-yard line. On second down, Bentram needs McCray to run a long way for the first down. He gets to the 35, and he is well short of the first down there. So Mike McTagg will come in to punt. Saskatchewan's lead 19-16, 8:10 left, third quarter.
Bentram's release seems to have changed from the first quarter. He normally throws the ball from up by his ear. The screen pass and this last pass, he seems like you said, slingshotting the ball. Still has lots of power and accuracy, but why he's changing his style. The veteran middle linebacker, Bernie Morrison, is down. And that would be a blow because he's probably the stablest of the linebackers they have in on the Calgary defense.
Well, they've already had one bad injury to Bob Poley, their center, and this is the defensive equivalent of a center, I guess, the middle backer. Bernie Morrison, who was very emotionally involved in the Save the Stamps campaign when it looked like Calgary would not play another season. He was almost angry at the people in that city, and I guess it took that kind of display to get people to realize how bad the situation was. Quite similarly, Bill Baker said a lot of things that people didn't want to hear in Regina, but felt that they had to be said or else people would not appreciate the severity of the situation. Bernie Morrison seems okay. There is still some treatment taking place. Here's a fumbled snap by McTagg, but he got the kick away. Larry Willis returning it, and he goes backwards before he can move upfield, but he'll be able to do that. Willis down the sidelines, finally out of bounds. Coaches will say don't take that chance because it doesn't work that often, but Willis was confident of his own speed.
Very few times they can get to the outside to the wall like that. He was lucky that time.
Stampeders ball at the 53-yard line. McVeigh can't get to midfield. John Walker. The score is Saskatchewan 19 and Calgary 16. We pause 10 seconds for the stations from coast to coast to identify themselves. You're watching the Canadian Football Network.
Serving Hamilton, Toronto, and the Niagara Peninsula. This is CHCH TV 11.
Second down 8 from midfield for Calgary. Foreman is rushed, and he steps up into another rush. Well, that hasn't been happening enough for Saskatchewan. They haven't had the pressure on Foreman, but that time he really didn't have an opportunity to throw the ball or to run, to do anything but take the loss that he has just suffered.
Well, that's the first time we've seen Norris Gibbs come up from his inside half position. Foreman will have nowhere to go. He gets that pressure from the outside, has to step up. The inside collapses on him. That's the way it's drawn up on the board. It was perfect.
Harper punts on third down. Florence at the 30. Out as he approaches the 35-yard line.
Florence has showed some great speed in different situations, and his involvement in the special teams this afternoon is tremendous. And Nick Hebler, one of the classics in the CFL, when he was played in BC, he'd often go on during rookie camp with a radio over his shoulder and an axe with his hair shaved in a mohawk and say, I'm going to get myself a rookie every day at training camp. Wonder what the rookies would think if you saw that.
CFN could stand for Canadian Football Nuts. Tim McRae on first down for another first down. And he's a big offensive weapon in this game for Saskatchewan. Looking at a 100-yard game, I think if he keeps going at this rate, at 76 in the first half.
It's something new we're going to see. They're going to go up into a hurry-up offense. Try to throw the defense of the Stampeders off completely.
Bentram fires it out to Conrad. And that gets 5 yards.
This can be in a very effective situation that doesn't allow Calgary to run any players in. They don't get their calls in. Can throw the defense off completely.
And they have to watch that it doesn't hurry Bentram too much. Rider fans want a penalty called on Richie Hall. Elgard does too. Elgard says you've been flagging me all day. What about the guy who just prevented me from catching the ball? But according to the men in the stripes, Richie Hall did it legally.
Jeff Bentram is being tutored by John Hufnagel, one of the finer quarterbacks to play in the CFL last year with Winnipeg, and now a playing coach here in Saskatchewan. I think he's going to have a lot to do and a lot of good things to teach Bentram. Though Huffer could never run like Bentram, he can certainly tell him how to read an occasional defense.
Say Hufnagel won't put the helmet on. Coaches don't wear them. He's a coach much before he's a player, so far anyway. And if this kid keeps going, I guess it's going to remain that way. McTagg's punt is watched by Willis. He's going to try the other sideline this time. No blocking help on this occasion. He gets to the 30-yard line with his speed alone. 19-16, the Riders continue to lead by 3. Attendance today at Taylor Field, 21,340, about 6,000 short of a sellout. Just about what was anticipated for this league opener. Gary Allen from his 30. He's got 9 yards, close to a first down, and that offensive line of the Stampeders starting to assert itself, minus Bob Poley.
They've done a good job of coming off the football and creating gaps for Gary Allen to run, and he's that type of runner where he doesn't need a lot of room. You get him through, he's into the secondary as quickly as anybody.
Well, he's one way that the pass protection of Ormond can be helped. If the defenders have to worry about Allen, they don't rush the passer quite so easily, quite so fast. Here's Allen for the first down. Little high stepping gets him to the 45.
And now it's time for a little bit of breathers. He says, that's twice in a row. It's hot out here, guys. Ilirenko and Rob Smith. John Coughlin on the right side there doing a great job at opening up the tough defensive line, Hebler and John Walker.
Allen returned punts for the Dallas Cowboys for a couple of years. He does much more than that here in Calgary. First down, Stampeders, the ball at their 45. Once again, they keep it on the ground. Gary Allen treated a little rudely by Billy Jackson. Tom Spallettini will come in and protest.
Protest away. I don't think it's going to make much difference. The Saskatchewan defense wants to get those two plays as they usually do, 2 in and 2 out, and let's get the offense back in the field. They're still probably feeling the effects of the second quarter where they were on the field most of the time.
Allen gained 8 on that play. It is John Coughlin centering the ball in Bob Foley's absence. Warman under pressure. They got to him. Joe Fuller with a safety blitz.
And you can't tell me Rick Warman couldn't feel that when he was 3 steps away. Joe Fuller from the short side of the field comes in untouched, glances right between the 1 and the 7, and down he goes.
The amazing part is that he holds on to the ball. I think fans, when they see a hit like that, that's the first question they ask, why didn't the ball come loose?
Oh, it is incredible. I think the natural reaction is they tuck that ball away as a running back would as soon as they feel the contact. That's a good way to confuse a rookie quarterback. Watch from behind.
Well, it helps to make up for Fuller's miscue earlier in the game when he couldn't handle a punt. Here's Glenn Harper's punt, and Eric Florence will take this one. He catches everything.
That's what you call a one bounce, but I'm not sure who bounced, the ball or...
Well, they say don't let that punt bounce. You never know what's going to happen if it hits the ground, and Eric Florence takes that literally.
The crowd's starting to they realize they want that momentum to change. They want Bentrim to take them down that 75 yards for another 6 points. They're ready for a touchdown.
41-yard line is the line of scrimmage. Bentrim has everybody to the left. Looks straight up the middle, and that's a perfect strike to Elgard, who got a block, turned it in, and got to the 52-yard line. You can't blame Bentrim for looking for the biggest guy out there, and that's Ray Elgard.
Well, Elgard does so many things well when he runs a pass pattern, but coming back to the football is one of them. And Warman is saying, all right, now I want the number of the guy that hit me, and I'll be looking to his side from now on in.
They put it in hastily. There's an incompleted pass. Albert Brown trying to pick it off the turf, but he could not.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Bentrim run a little bit more this afternoon. He's been in a situation where he can turn and run up the field. Because of his abilities, you know, the guy breaks Walter Payton's rushing record for touchdowns on the ground in college, 64. He can get the ball upfield. I'm surprised we haven't seen him run the football a little bit more. Well,
there could be a key play or two that will find him doing that as this game winds on. That pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. That's a 6-foot quarterback trying to throw over guys that were 6'5" and 6'6", and that will happen. From time to time, it just happened to Bentrim, and the Riders will have to give up the ball. There's some of those behemoths who leave the field in Calgary uniform.
Do you wonder why they call the linemen hogs? Would you rather, if you were a lineman, be called a horse, one of the horses, or even behemoth? Straight drop back. They're blitzing their safety too. If you're going to blitz your halfback, we'll blitz our halfback. It's tit for tat.
The tag will punt. He wants a good one to get the Stampeders deep. And that is about as good as you could want. That's an NFL-style punt that's becoming increasingly popular in the CFL. Forget the single point. Why want to lead by? We don't want to lead by 4. Shove them deep in their own zone.
Gregory realizes how important this series is for his defense. Let's stop him for 2 plays and get out. We know we're going to get good field position. Harper's been only average punting the football today. He's got a kick against the wind. He can feel some points coming out of this if they can stop them here.
Dick Hebler had a problem earlier. He's back in. Walker, Goltz, Bob Jurison on the front 4 of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The fans encourage them, and Rick Warman tries to do something about it. From his end zone. Oh. That pass was over the head of the defender and really wasn't going to be caught no matter what.
Nick Hebler feeling the effects of that leg, but realizes the importance of this particular drive right here. The fans are getting into it. They realize they're called the 13th man, and for good reason. They can get this defense fired up.
Well, this is when the defense can help to score points. Force a punt here, and then the offense is in a position to add to its lead. Let the Stampeders move it out, and that opportunity is long.
Oh,
there's 2 points. Joe Fuller again came, and sorry, defense, they can score the points themselves.
Joe Fuller, a repeat of exactly the play he did the last time when he greeted Rick Warman into the league, and bang, comes free, untouched by the running back or the offensive tackle. That has to be picked up, and it should be picked up. Good job by the defense getting onto that quick. He wanted to release the ball quickly and couldn't, and there's no time to eat the ball when you're in the end zone.
Well, I think a veteran quarterback, realizing he was in the end zone, might still have thrown that ball, making sure that nobody caught it. You haven't got that kind of time when you're back there.
Well, he barely had time to set up. He could have released the ball into the ground in front of the receiver, but even then he barely got his feet planted to see if the receiver was open. So that's just great defense. He likes that. 2 sacks in the stats. It makes him feel good.
Well, I said they didn't want to lead by 4. I suppose they're quite happy to lead by 5 because they're going to get the ball back and try and come down and add to that lead.
I was wondering how they do the wave in Taylor Field with no stands in the end zone. This is timing right here. You're seeing some choreography.
Save the Riders is one thing, but I'm not sure about save the wave. However, it does add to the atmosphere here, and people are having quite a good time in the first quarter, and as it turns out, also in the third quarter. Stampeders got all 16 of their points in the second quarter.
You're going to have somebody hold the football, and one problem that could come out of this is usually the fellow who's holding the football may be pressing a little bit too hard. The ball can pop straight up, only go about 25 or 30 yards.
JT Hay makes sure it goes farther than that, and it is the speedy Albert Brown. My goodness, he has moves, but they didn't take him too far. And here comes Bob Poley back from the dressing room. The left wrist is broken.
Well, I'm sure this is not the first injury for Bob Poley, and I would assume that he'll go back. They'll get it x-rayed in Calgary. He'll say, just throw a cast on it, and I'll be ready to play next week.
.32-yard line, Saskatchewan territory. Final minute of the third quarter with the Riders up by 5 points. Bentram turns, hands the ball to Tim McRae. Gain of 5, and again they will go with a quick snap. Bentram is down at the 24-yard line, 25-yard line. They'll scrimmage it, and guess who?
The sackmaster. First pressure put on by Vince Goldsmith.
Saskatchewan 21 and Calgary 16. Well, the game is very much for the taking in the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan leading by 5 points. It was a 16-point lead at one stage for the Riders. Tim McRae is at a big day. Jeff Bentram has been up and down, and so has the other rookie quarterback, Rick Warman, and I guess you expect that.
Almost seems like defense is dictated. A little bit of razzle-dazzle, halfback blitz. Let's throw the rookies off, and that could make a difference in the game.
Stampeders would hope to get the ball near midfield, hopefully in Saskatchewan territory. Depends on the McTagg punt and on the return, and we'll see both right now. Pretty good rush by the Stampeders. The punt is hanging nice and high for Richie Hall, and he's taken down immediately. Mark Ernest following the initial hit to make the tackle. Mark Ernest, the son of a former Rider all-time great, the all-time center, in fact, in Saskatchewan, Ted Ernest, and I guess the green and white line goes even deeper in his family tree.
Sure does. Goes back to his grandfather, who was also an offensive lineman, so there's some history right there.
Warman has thrown for a touchdown. He's thrown one to the other team, 133 yards. First down, Warman throws it, and it's low, but it is caught. They rule a catch by Tim Petros inside Saskatchewan zone at the 54-yard line. It'll be 2nd down 4.
That heat means one thing on the field. You've got to put it back in the system or they'll start cramping up. It's a good look at Mark Ernest. He feels the heat, and he's only been going on the special teams.
Second down, another Warman pass. Good defensive play by Harry Skipper. He hit Tony Woodruff at the right time. Woodruff is looking and saying, was it interference? But there was no doubt that Skipper made the play.
Perfect timing. As Gregory has said, he closes on the football as well as any defensive back in the league. And that's exactly what he does. If the ball's well thrown over the middle, there is no help from the safety. Harry Skipper closes in and knocks the ball away.
Oh, you're right. The ball was well thrown. Warman couldn't have done anything more to make that a completion. It was just better defense. Close game, 4th quarter. Every punt counts. A long one can make a difference. So can a short one. And so can a flag on the punt. And we have a flag thrown. Fuller is going to let that one bounce. He wanted it to go into the end zone. And quite certain he would have given up a single. Now he thinks he'll take the run back to the 33-yard line. We'll check the flag, but I'm quite sure that Joe Fuller said take the single and bring the ball out.
Too many men.
And the penalty is against Saskatchewan, so forget the return.
That's why it was so good. There was somebody extra blocking. Maybe Fuller shouldn't have been there.
Gregory not happy at all because Calgary's going to keep the ball.
Talk about penalties hurting you. A good return negated because too many men. Somebody's not paying attention.
Well, when he finds the
he's looking for somebody.
He's just mad in the.
Whether it's a rookie or a veteran, these mistakes should not take place, especially if it's a rookie, because a lot of the times his only responsibility is special teams. Looks to Mike Sample, say, hey, Samps, get this thing straightened out. This is going to hurt us.
It already has. 49-yard line, 44 rather. First down, Calgary. Allen for a couple.
We've got a little bit of action going on downfield too in the defensive secondary.
And we don't see a flag for that.
Emmanuel Tolbert, like Ray Elgard, doesn't like the way one of the defensive gentlemen are treating him downfield. He says, I'll tell you, I'll get you back. I'll tell you, Billy Jackson's not the guy to mess around with, though. I'd be very careful, Tolbert.
Big second down play for Rick Warman and the Stampeders. They are in J.T. Hayes' range, but they're thinking more in terms of a touchdown. Warman to the sidelines, and he is out of Marshall Toner's reach, so we will see J.T. Hayes.
Rick Warman once again saw Joe Fuller, but they had the right offensive play on. They had Marshall Toner going to the flat where Fuller was coming from. That could have been a big play if Warman had thrown the ball in there. And I believe Gregory's happy that it was a misthrown football.
He wants to count the number of players in green uniforms before they let this field goal try be taken by J.T. Hay, who has been perfect, 3 out of 3, and one of those was a 56-yarder.
Well, this will just be like a chip chop for him then.
48 yards out to cut the lead to 2 points. This has the distance, and it's good as well. Saskatchewan leads now 21-19.
Vespasiani knows he's had the chances. He had a second run after that too many men penalty against the Riders, but they couldn't put it in the end. He's got to start taking advantage of these things. There's a lot of time left, but maybe not enough.
He lost a heartbreaker in the season opener last year to the Edmonton Eskimos. He trails by 2 points in this game. 11:45 left. Bentrim and the Riders moving from their 35-yard line. Tim McRae, who's gone over 100 yards today, goes over the 40-yard line this time. They're going to give him that extra couple of yards, and it'll be second down and about 3 to go.
The CFL offense is going cycles. It's been the past for so many years, as the offense now is going to start using the running game because of the way the defenses are lining up.
Well, it served Saskatchewan well, and Gary Allen's runs Calgary as well today. Second down, almost 4 full yards to go. Bentrim is rushed. He throws one to nobody. Albert Brown was running a pattern, and he just ran out of bounds. Of course, he can't come back in when he does that. So Bentrim expected him to be there, and Brown said, it doesn't matter if I'm not, because I can't catch the ball legally anyway.
He can just continue on. The Shenley Rookie of the Year, 19 sacks. One of the reasons is tremendous pursuit. The play goes away, but he continues on and always close to being late.
Harold Hallman is almost the CFL's answer to Lawrence Taylor when he's in motion like that. Another nice high punt by McTaggart. He gets good distance out of this one. Little Richie Hall, he ran into his own man, but bumped off him and got 5 yards to the 35.
Well, if McTagg keeps kicking the ball like that, there'll be no question who the punter will be.
Canadian Football Network comes to you from Ottawa Friday night. The Hamilton Tiger Cats at Ottawa, and a week from today we'll be at BC Place Stadium for the Lions' first game of the season against these Saskatchewan Roughriders. The question is, will Saskatchewan take a 1-0 record to that game, or will it be 0-1? 10.5 minutes, we'll know. That's time on the clock. Here's Rick Warman. Good pass. Tolbert with a catch at midfield, and that's a first down. Warman hasn't thrown too many bad passes since the bad first quarter.
And a few of those passes were over the middle. He feels confident going back to Emmanuel Tolbert. Maybe it's that little headband that flashes out the back. He knows who he is. It's easy to pick out. There's a fellow who's got a pretty confident foot.
Not quite sure of the calf, though. He's been having cramps, and he's trying to work them out. Obviously, with a 2-point difference, one more kick from J.T. Hay might decide this game. Here's Allen, and he is at his head of steam and keeps breaking tackles. He got almost to the 45, which would almost be a first down. Going to be about a yard short, so the Stampeders are moving.
Gary Allen, the Calgary offense, isn't showing anything special. They're just coming straight at him. A good lead block by the fullback, Petros.
He's got some running to do to catch up to Tim McRae, but wait a minute.
Holy smokes. First a headband, now a hat. Basic football right here. Offensive line comes off well. Rob Smith and Yeli Renko. That's the way to do it, and that's the way to chew down a defense.
Second down, a yard to go. Pretty good fake and a run by McVeigh for the first down. We've heard a lot about the rookie from U of T. Hasn't run the ball very much, but second-round draft pick with halfback moves, playing out of the fullback spot.
Vespasiani really likes him. Said he was a real treat in camp, showed what he could do in special teams. But you know, when you go in an offense, there's so much to learn. He has to know both the halfback and the fullback spot, and that's not easy. Intelligent guy, graduated from forestry at the University of Toronto, likes it out west.
39-yard line, first down Calgary, 8.5 minutes left. Stampeders trail by 2. Warman is throwing a long one. Broke it up, and that's Harry Skipper again.
Warman can't figure it out. Says he's given me 5 yards. It looks like Willis has got him beat, and Skipper closes that gap.
Well, once again, everything is fine. Warman's pass is perfect, and Skipper's play is better.
It's a great read by the quarterback. The safety has gone the other way. He's got a one-on-one situation, which he likes. Willis on Skipper. Skipper just continues to baffle him. He comes out of nowhere and closes on the football.
Again, they are within J.T. Hayes' range, and those cramps aren't bothering him. Second down, 10 from the 39. They'll get some yardage, and Emmanuel Colbert is flattened. Call me Harry Skipper again.
Well, I'll tell you, there'll be some red on somebody's helmet, and I think it might be Skipper's.
And now the war of words, but of more importance is the fact that J.T. Hayes coming on to try to be 5 for 5 and put Calgary into the lead for the first time today. You'll see the hit.
Catch the ball and turn upfield unless somebody's going to pop you. And I'd say that's what getting pop's like.
Well, it didn't gain Calgary much. J.T. Hay probably didn't need the extra yards on the field goal. It's going to be a 41-yard attempt. He has made 4 already. He puts the Stampeders into the lead if he makes 5. Yes, sir. Calgary's lead is a point. Calgary leads for the first time today, just under 8 minutes to go. Well, Emmanuel Colbert paid the price for the team. The field goal was made by J.T. Hay, and Saskatchewan for the first time in the game trails. And Jeff Bentram must get something going from his 35-yard line. He throws it upfield. He hits Todd Brown. Usually it's Ray Elgard on that route, and he was close, but Todd Brown makes the catch at the 50-yard line. It is a first down.
Starting to mix it up, as you can see his hands on that list of plays or situations that he can run. They've sent in a situation. He will pick a play from that.
Well, I do think that he's got a run left in him. You wondered why he hadn't been running too often, but when the game's on the line, I'm sure he will take off if he feels it's advantageous. Tim McRae, 100 yards plus today and more on this one, right down the sidelines. Forced out by Greg Peterson, but it's a big gain for Tim McRae.
Tim McRae goes to the outside, inside, and then out. A good running back will feel the pressure from the inside, get inside that first block by the running back, and get to the sidelines. He's closing in on 200 yards.
From the 39-yard line of Calgary, it is first down Saskatchewan. Tim McRae, 18 for 130, an average of more than 7 yards per carry. Here he is again. The line making great holes for McRae's into the 23-yard line.
I guess there's one way to make people forget about the running back Bobby Johnson last year and the kind of year he had, and Tim McRae is doing it today.
Bentram with the hand claps now, says get the play in, let's go. He's an active young man. He likes to keep things rolling when it is going in this fashion. Hillerbrun Anderson, the veteran Roger Aldag, Laurie Skolrud up front as everybody moves in motion left. Bentram looks that way, looks back the other way, and here's the run. He will score. I do think it was a design play.
Every time he drops back, he gives you that impression that he will stop and go with it.
Everything was this way, and he knew he was going back the other way.
He takes a quick look, he gets early pressure, and decides, well, I might as well score my first CFL touchdown as anybody.
He's beating the left corner, David McCrary, with the speed on that play. Had a bit of an angle, but they said he could run the ball like a halfback, and the NFL wanted a shot at him at that position. Saskatchewan made that unnecessary by signing him as a CFL quarterback. Mike McTagg made the extra point. The Riders are back in the lead. Lease MVP, Canada Lease, a Canadian company with international reach, providing leadership in the world of high technology financing. And needless to say, the most valuable player of this game has not been chosen yet. Needless to say, he is one candidate, young Jeff Bentram. Would round out his birthday very nicely, but the Riders have to hold the lead. 6 points, just about 6 minutes to go. McTagg's kickoff. This is McVeigh on the return. Hit down at the 45. Calgary ball there.
Rick Warman has his work cut out for him. He's got to move the ball down the field and without turnovers. One turnover on this drive could put it away.
Well, this is the real test of rookie quarterbacks. What do they do when the game is on the line? They've both shown great poise at times, not at others. Stampeders need a poised Rick Warman here. First down. Sidelines, and that pass was ill-advised. Warman is right now happy didn't throw it well because undoubtedly Norris Gibbs would have picked it off. He's the brother of a quarterback who played here, Norman Gibbs, also in Winnipeg, and that was the first name that came out of John Gregory's mouth when we said name your fastest player.
Well, he certainly showed it there. I think, as he said before, he'd have a great 4x100 relay, and if you don't have speed in your defensive backfield, you can't blitz because you can't go to man-to-man. And with guys like that, with speed like that, they're not afraid to cover any receiver in the league. And now this fella's got to put some points on the board and move the football.
Warman's yardage is better. Bentram's percentage is higher. However, here's a big rush on Warman. He's tripped and he goes down. Bobby Jurison is right there. And there will be others who will want parts of a statistic. David Albright, the big middle linebacker, who really is admired by his coaches, was probably the first one to get to Warman. We're going to look at the middle backer.
Comes on a straight blitz. Good job by Goltz to pull the offensive guard aside. They don't believe an offensive back can block him at 6'2" and 235, and maybe the best compliment to give him is Gregory says he's like a young Danny Bass. And Danny Bass is the best in the country right now, so I'd say Albright's on the way.
Harper now needs a good punt. He can't afford to shank one and give Saskatchewan good field position. It is a pretty good punt. Florence juggles it for the moment, now looks for a block. He is taken down as the Calgary special teams do their job. Dave McCurry, first time we've mentioned him in a positive sense after that great preseason game. Maybe Saskatchewan has just decided to stay away from him.
Well, he started pretty quick with 3 interceptions in his last game, and now he's having problems getting to his feet. Looks like he's hurt his hand the way he's cradling it on his leg. And again, Pat Clayton is pressed into service, and they don't like that.
Gary Allen has ice on his hip, and he's not going to be playing in this series, maybe for the rest of the game. So this has been a tough game for Calgary injuries. Poley, now Allen down the stretch isn't going to be able to play, and McCurry may be out of here.
The way McCurry went down, his elbow jammed into the shoulder. Oftentimes from that type of fall, you can dislocate or separate your shoulder. We hope it's nothing that serious. We just like to think, because of the nature of this turf being as hard as it is, it's just a big jolt to the body. He might get what the players call a burner. A little bit of a stinging effect that goes down the arm. It'll go away, get that arm moving. As long as it's moving like the others, I'm sure he's asking, well, I'm okay, but how are the fans taking it?
He's got big shoes to fill. Mel Jenkins at that cornerback spot for Calgary decided to try the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks, and Bob Vespasiani thinks he's got a chance. McCurry had the big preseason game, but Vespasiani also said let's wait and see before we decide that Mel Jenkins has been replaced for good. Friday night, the Ottawa Roughriders will host the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Resurgence of interest in Ottawa, much like here in Regina. First down, Bentram pitches to McCray, trying to add to his great totals of today, and he does to the 45-yard line. He gets about 6 yards.
He hasn't been tackled by one man yet today. He seems to be able to elude the pressure. Both running backs having a great day. McCray having a better day. Gary Allen carrying for 68 yards, but McCray almost doubling that.
Doesn't look like Allen's going to get any more.
No, that hip pointer, that's going to slow him down.
Second down, 4 from the 45-yard line for Saskatchewan, keeping the ball now very valuable to the Rider cause. This should be a short, safe pass. It's not, but they complete it, and a first down, Eric Florence at the 50-yard line. I don't know that I'd have called that one.
Well, as soon as you said safe and I saw Larry Hogue moving up, I'd say, well, the last thing you want to do is in a certain defense is throw it into the flat. That's a long out. I mean, he's throwing that ball not just 10 yards out, but a good 35 yards. That's a long way to throw a ball. That better be a frozen rope if it's going to get there. And it got there just in time.
First down at the 51-yard line. The clock down to 3.5 minutes left. So ball possession very important for Saskatchewan. Bentram to the fullback, Conrad, and I don't know that Calgary was expecting that. He's got 8 or 9 yards. And this is the real test of Bentram, and I think he's passing it with flying colors, scoring the go-ahead touchdown and then keeping the ball out of Calgary's hands.
Well, when you see both running backs make yards both inside and outside, you know one thing for sure. The horses up front are blowing Calgary off the ball. They're giving them the ability to get a couple of steps to make that 8 or 9 yards, and in Tim McRae's case, a lot more than that.
Middle linebacker Albright is in for some extra blocking. They take out a wide receiver, second down and short yardage, 2nd and 1 from the Calgary 50. McRae, and he's not going to miss. Touches the ball down a yard ahead just in case. With 2:42 left and the Riders leading by 6, we pause. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are 2 minutes and 42 seconds away from an opening game victory that would do a lot more than all those telephone calls and all those pledges to establish football here in Regina. The money, the tickets, the green, it's all nice, but the name of the game is win. McRae again. Good little fake by Bentram just in case it could help the gain, and it did, I think. Calgary now respecting that rollout ability of Bentram.
If Bentram hangs on to the ball, he's going to get as much as McRae did there on a misdirection. But, you know, we look at Jeff Bentram. When he gets in the huddle, he gets them out of the huddle quickly. He's got control, and Vespasiani wishes he didn't.
Well, points here would be nice, but if Saskatchewan can hold on to the ball, the clock might just beat Calgary. Whoa, Stampeders are waiting for McRae on that one. I'll bet.
Listen, you keep coming back to that well too many times, we're going to put a lid on it.
He doesn't appear the worse for wear, though. Get all those good runs, you got to expect a couple of losses now and then. Shouldn't hurt so much.
Well, he probably gets in the huddle and says, hey, give it to me again. I can do it every time.
35-yard line as they lose a yard. Second down, and let's see what the call is here. They are going to keep it on the ground wisely, I think, especially the way McRae has been running. Even though they don't make the first down, there's no use putting that ball up for grabs. Now you've got a chance to kick a punt or a field goal, add to your point total, or maybe try to get the ball out of bounds inside the Calgary 10-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a tough day on the defensive line for Calgary. The more you run the football, the more the defense takes a pounding.
That was Quincy Williams, who is out of Auburn, just like Harold Hallman is. They would love to think they've got another Hallman in number 91, Williams. Well, McTagg is going to try a field goal. He'll try it from 39 yards out, and if he makes it, the lead goes to 9 points. But he didn't have enough distance, I don't believe, and it's wide, and the Stampeders bring it out. And now we can question the wisdom of that. Why not give up a point, go down by 7, and you know, you can still try to win with a 2-point convert if you must, but right at this point, you'd take an overtime period, wouldn't you?
Sure would. McTagg just didn't get enough foot on the ball, too many rotations, and he, again, like you say, now Calgary's alive, and we've got somebody else down with what looks to be cramps.
Only 1:19 left, and they wanted to keep the single point off the board, but they're only at the 12-yard line. Richie Hall is the injured player. The heat is now starting to cause cramps. We hope that's all it is, but it's quite understandable if indeed that is the problem.
Well, this isn't too bad. If it is just cramps, now it gives Warman an opportunity to sit down and think out what he has to do. In his mind, he will be going through the plays that he wants to execute. He knows what's going to work. He probably knows that the defense Saskatchewan's going to be in. They don't want to give up anything long. 1:19 seconds left. Let's play conservative defense, but let's not make any mistakes.
1:19 left. Bentram has done well to keep the ball out of Calgary's hands for a while. Now the supreme test for the other rookie, Rick Warman. He's got to go almost 100 yards and score a touchdown to win the game. Nothing wrong with that pass. Emmanuel Tolbert on the receiving end at the 38-yard line, and you couldn't do better.
No,
only 6 seconds off the clock, too.
He's taking a chance throwing it across the middle, though, because those linebackers will drop deep. He's got some great receivers like Tolbert to go inside, but you are taking a chance, and he wants to stop the clock.
Clock is running, 1:10. Warman, the straight drop back style. Another completion to the sidelines. Magruder got the receiver out of bounds, but those Riders look a little concerned as the ball is to midfield. Rick Goltz is down now.
Well, it's not a bad idea. Even if he doesn't have to go down, he's going to slow Calgary down, take away maybe the edge off that momentum. The Prairie God. He's going to be a pro wrestler, and that's going to be his nickname. Hope this doesn't take too much out of his wrestling career like this, though.
Boy, these rookie quarterbacks continue to impress. One pass to Tolbert, that pass to Larry Willis were right on the money by Rick Warman. He is sitting back in that pocket. He's waiting for the receiver to break, and he's throwing it right there. Yards get a little tougher now when you get into Saskatchewan territory, but there's still more than a minute left. 1 minute and 4 seconds for the Stampeders to move 55 more yards. And I think, Neil, we expected an interesting game. I don't know that we could have expected one quite this exciting at the end, as close as you could want it. The game is going to be decided in the last minute. And we applaud the rookie quarterbacks for the show they put on.
Oh, they've come in and done a fine job. They've taken control, both Warman and Bentram, and they should be saluted because it's been a tough day.
Rick Goltz with a Rider green hair comes off. Warman tries to make it 3 in a row on this drive, and Tolbert is interfered with, I believe. The flag comes down, and the ball wasn't there when he was hit. The Riders will argue, but it looked like pass interference on Emmanuel Tolbert to me.
Well, the flag was thrown on the near side of the field right in front of the Saskatchewan bench. That probably doesn't mean that there's a problem downfield. Could be interior line. Offside holding.
Objectionable conduct. Saskatchewan number 68.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Something's wrong with that.
Something came from the bench because number 68 is an offensive tackle, Laurie Skolroot. He obviously had some remarks for Jake, and he didn't appreciate it because that flag came out quick.
Boy, a coach who says, let's get rid of the penalties. And a penalty like that might contribute to Saskatchewan's downfall. Laurie Skolroot is the veteran on this team. Well, that one was hard to explain, and maybe we won't have to worry about it, but that pass is incomplete. Toner took a hit. I'm still wondering about the pass that was thrown intended for Tolbert. It looked like he was hit before the ball got there, but come back to the 45. All sorts of things going on here in the last
set
minute.
by Warman. Wants to throw to the flat because it's a safe pass. Harry Skipper has something else in mind. He's going to come into my area. I'm going to drop you.
2nd and 10, but of course the Stampeders will use 3rd down if they have to. 45 yards away from a winning touchdown. Warman is rushed. He throws it deep. A man is there. The ball is caught. Larry Willis grabbed it out of Mike Magruder's hands, and it's at the 15-yard line with 43 seconds to go, and Warman was right on the money again.
Vespasiani says he likes to go up. Willis likes to go up and take the ball out of the air. That's exactly what he did. I'm questioning, where's the free safety? They're in somewhat of a prevent defense. The free safety, Suter, should be back playing the field. He's not. He should be coming over. There should be someone there to help out.
I said the pass was right on target. I guess had it been a little better, Willis might have scored. He had to step on Magruder to the inside, and if Warman could have led him just a bit more, he might have gone all the way with that one because he was clearly open when the pass was thrown. You can see he has to come back for it a bit. But the Stampeders aren't about to argue with anything as they have a chance to win this game with 43 seconds left. A penalty against Laurie Skolroot, who was on the sidelines at the time, is aiding this Calgary drive. Here's Warman from the 15-yard line to the end zone. Touchdown! Larry Willis did it again. He beat Mike Magruder. And Gregory is incensed with 31 seconds left. One cannot help but think back a year ago to what happened to Vespasiani after all of their problems in the offseason. Would they make it to the field? They almost had a game won against Edmonton. It looks like the reverse is happening now.
It's amazing. They've moved down the field. Warman has taken them down 85 yards, almost without a hitch, throwing the ball into a man-on-man situation with Mike Magruder. Just not good enough.
Well, Larry Willis wonders what the fans think, and I guess Ray Alexander wasn't missed on that play or on this day, as Calgary, with half a minute to go, has gone in front 29-28. There is still time for Saskatchewan, but now it's tough, and the Stampeders are where they didn't figure to be after one quarter.
I guess that single point hangs over. That return out of the end zone, it seems so important, along with that penalty by Skullroot on the sidelines. You just can't help but think the coaches want to swallow their headsets when things like that happen, especially when Gregory said, we can't beat ourselves with penalties.
Well, in hindsight, it's good they ran it out. If they not, we would be looking at overtime right now, which wouldn't be so bad either.
But you're right, 31 seconds left. Jeff Bentram at the helm. Anything can happen.
It really is hard to explain what happened here, and I don't suppose we're going to know until well after the game when Laurie Skullroot decides to talk about it, or maybe Jake Ireland tells us what happened. But an odd penalty, and
right out of the blue too, during the progress of a play.
Now the kickoff is all important. Hay might try to keep this a little bit shorter than the deep men, so that no, he's going to kick it as far as he can. Albert Brown with a lot of speed and many moves. Oh, he had a chance to get outside and had a lot of room if he'd been able to. As it is, he gets to the 40-yard line. 23 seconds to go. 35-yard return by Albert Brown, who showed us his speed on that play. Now, the difference here is that obviously there's not as much time for Bentram as there was for Warman, but the Riders don't need the touchdown. Any scoring they can do prolongs or wins this game, but they have to do it quickly. Bentram is tackled with a face mask, it looked like. Fans think that. Maybe just took a shot to the side of the head.
Well, a rule was brought in 2 years ago that they were not going to allow tackling of the head.
Well,
and here's a perfect example. Vince Goldsmith going around Laurie Skullroot, gets that right arm out.
Well, that's
tackling the head.
Grabbed the mask. Play is in. Bentram tries it again. A short one, and he hopes Conrad can find running room. They will use third down, and they will need to use third down for the 44-yard line with 11 seconds to go. So 2 plays, perhaps. The first one must get a first down, and the second one, unless the first one gets a big first down, must get a touchdown, because I don't think they're ready to kick. Bentram on third down. That pass is knocked away from Todd Brown, and the Calgary Stampeders have come back in the final minute to win this game. And to say the crowd is disappointed is understating the case, and I guess John Gregory might want to cry right now.
Well, they certainly had Taylor Field rocking about 15 minutes ago. Bentram hit Brown right on the numbers. 2 defenders coming across his face, distracted him. That ball could have been caught. You just got to wonder, when you prepare a team and you play so well, and the little things that can tear a good performance down as quickly as it has, a penalty, something that small.
Much credit to the Stampeders for coming back, though. 16-0 after 1 quarter. And it looked like they were done at the end of the game, but march down the field they did, which is what they had to do. And Rick Warman threw the ball terrifically in that last drive. I mean, those passes couldn't have been better by somebody who's been 10 years in the league, and he'd never taken a snap in this league until today.
Well, maybe that's the reason Vespasiani knew something we didn't. He saw something in this young man in preseason that he felt could start this game without Rick Johnson even backing up. He has confidence in him, poise, he goes down, he sets up, he throws the football. He did a fine job. He won the football game.
Gregory's still incensed, maybe at the referee, maybe at his own players. He's really hot. Vespasiani couldn't tell him how it feels because he knows how it feels, as it happened to him a year ago, but this isn't the time for that. A good effort by that man, but the other rookie was the winner.